Let go. Hey, okay, I know I'm here to stay. Counting on my wins, so I can't play it safe. Play it safe, go get fast, get you out the way. Go hard, it's the only way to play. Let me say, I'm a trendsetter, I'm a go-getter, I'm a trendsetter.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ponds on the Duck podcast. I am Jaxon Hasty.
And I am Caleb Shoemake.
I'm Landen.
And I don't think any of us expected what happened on Saturday night, but we will gladly take it, and what a hell of a game.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did not put a goalpost in the duck pond, but, you know, the odds that we were going to get that goalpost out of the stadium was probably zero because unless we threw it over, like, the back of the stadium, yeah. I don't think it was getting out of there.
I'm not sure how we were going to get it out if we did try. I mean, there were a lot of security guards down there. Like, I think there was like 8 minutes left to go in the game. We kind of at that point we'd secured it.
Yeah.
I mean, and oh my goodness, the amount of security guys that were all in front of our student section.
There was like 30 of them, and it's just like you're sitting there and like these guys are college kids that they're putting in front of us, and they're like, you think they're not gonna make they're gonna let us jump on the field, to be honest.
Like to me, and like, I mean, I'm looking at that, I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of security guards, but then I'm like, but you're about to have like 20,000 people just run onto the field. So I'm like, what are those 80 people going to do that are just there?
Yeah, they had this like line and they were just running around the field. It's like, oh, what are they doing? Like
they had string that they were just running around like, with. I'm like, oh man, that's stopping them to get out.
They had to look like they were doing something.
Half the time they were just holding it like. They weren't like half the time it was on the ground. They weren't even holding it up. They just gave up.
I saw like a couple of them like take the line and just run to the middle of the field and like start jumping up with it. I was like, they threw it on the ground. It was like they forgot about it.
They were ready whenever we went out for the first time. Whenever there was still 28 seconds left on the clock. Whenever we stormed it.
Oh yeah, that was a little premature.
They ran.
That was so dumb.
Our guys ran out onto the field. Don't know what they were doing, but then those guys with the string ran to the middle of the field with it, and there's just 4 of them with this string. I'm like, at least they were ready that time, but the next time they were not ready at all.
I think they just gave up.
I mean, they got off the field pretty quick, so we could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and I mean, the second time, of course, was amazing. Mm-hmm. And if you were in the student section, you would know when like the security guards came out and there was 8 minutes left, everybody moved forward, and it might have looked like a lot of people left at the top, but no, that was just people moving forward, squishing together to rush the field just for the amazing moment.
Yeah, literally at the north end of the end zone, there was like maybe 300 students already on like that lower level, not on the field.
I don't know how, but some people got in like that right tunnel. People were waiting in that tunnel too.
The Roughnecks were pulling people down and putting them in the tunnel. It was,
really?
Yeah,
dude. There were so. I mean, like that whole tunnel where like the schooner comes from and everything. Yeah. It was just packed right there. So like, if we would have scored during that time waiting, the schooner was not getting out. The schooner's not. It was not getting out at all.
Well, imagine if we did. I mean, there was like, I think we should go on to the football part of this now. Obviously, we rushed the field. Did you get?
No, so I was sitting all the way up top. I was trying to decide if I wanted to
like jump down.
If I would have jumped down, I don't think I would have made it to the field. I think everyone would probably
or be here right now. I'm sorry.
Well, he did jump, and he is here.
Okay, well, with no bruises.
I did jump. I didn't know I did.
All those Alabama fans sitting down in your section. Dude, how did you feel about that?
They were actually so nice. I'm not going to lie. I actually became friends with like 2 of them. This older guy that's gone to every single game.
Was it Roll Tide Willie?
Huh? I don't know who that is.
Oh,
but
gosh.
I don't know who that is. Am I
There's
casual?
No way.
Am I casual?
Roll Tide Willie.
Roll Tide Willie.
How do you not know who Roll Tide Willie is?
No, go to video.
You go to a video. Well, if anybody out there, so Roll Tide Willie is
I feel like a casual.
If you have ever heard Blitz, Bama, Blitz, it is this man right here.
He's the one that did it.
Oh, here is this the game
What
from
is the
yesterday?
boat
Yes.
dance?
He was getting, there's some clips on ESPN.
You rub your booty.
We can't put that
I mean, it was close still at the game. It was only 10-3.
Yeah,
so
true.
He probably still had some hope.
Can you look up Blitz, Bama, Blitz, Tim? But Roll Tide Willie is a sensation for all Alabama fans and probably described how they felt yesterday. He was pretty angry. If you watch some of the
Blitz, Bama Blitz.
Blitz, Bama Blitz.
Bama Blitz. I love America and I love the Tide, baby. And I love Will and the Down.
Yeah, right. I love
Give him shit, I fist for the Tide. Go get him. Go give a pass.
I had heard this. I just didn't know like who it was.
Yeah.
So at least I know it wasn't like a full casual.
But anyways, keep going. I apologize.
Okay. Well, so of course we do
Tim?
know that we won this game. Great game. We won 24-3 at home on national television, where we thought we were going to get steamrolled at home against Bama, especially after watching them go into Death Valley at LSU and
Absolutely destroyed them.
destroy them.
So that's something for next week for us, though.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, what did we come out? We came out like 4.5 point underdogs against LSU right now, something like that.
Let me check, but keep going.
But so I mean, some of the stats. I mean, one of the guys that took over, Jaxon Arnold, who a lot of people didn't have hope for him coming in this, but in this podcast, we all talked about last week how we wanted to have hope for him and we wanted him to do good. So didn't pass the ball a lot, but he was 9 for 11.
I mean, so it shows 9 for 11. Not many passes, of course, because with the playbook we had this game, we wanted to, option the ball.
They ran
the
my
ball.
Army offense.
Yeah, but that it's 9 for 11, 68 yards with no turnovers just shows how smart Arnold was with the ball that game. You could see him. His pocket presence was 100% better. He didn't freak out and just put his head down and run up like we've talked about so far. What he's done this season, and it's just, yeah.
It's amazing to see how Arnold has developed. Obviously, you go from 2 weeks ago. We had a bye week after Missouri, right? Or yeah, so because we didn't post. Tim's fault. And you see him obviously has to overcome this adversity after he has just thrown the game away, like we said in our last podcast against Missouri. And he comes into this game, and I don't think there was a single time where the man almost dropped the football. He protected it like a baby, like his life depended on it. And unfortunately, we still did get a turnover. Taylor Tatum fumbling that. But Tatum didn't get a single snap after that.
Did not get a single snap after that. And honestly, I mean, I feel like it's what he needed. Because, I mean, like, even after he had turned the ball over, they would still put him in a little bit. But, I mean, they need to show that. I mean, that right there was just a total flip of events that everything happened. I mean, I know, like, they didn't fully capitalize on it. But, I mean, he could be so good if he could just learn how to carry the ball.
Yeah, I mean, freshman mistakes. Obviously, like, that's going to happen. You saw Arnold in his Alamo Bowl game. five turnovers, I believe.
Yeah.
5
Anyways,
picks.
I heard some people comparing Arnold to Josh Allen after this game, which is obviously a little...
It's a little crazy,
much.
but I see what they're talking about with his
You could
rushing.
see the flashes.
'Cause, I mean,
I see it.
Because, I mean, he had 25 carries with 131 yards that game.
No touchdowns, unfortunately.
No
which I had a
touchdowns.
bet on him rushing for a touchdown, so that hurt a little bit, Jackson, if you're watching this for some reason. But I still love you, kind of. I didn't lose any money. It's okay. But Xavier Robinson, speaking of another freshman,
he stepped up great without Barnes out. I mean, with Barnes out,
Without-
he stepped. Yeah,
I mean, Barnes
out.
did suit up, though.
He did suit up.
He was warming up, too.
He was warming up, but
I think it was more of a game time decision with him than like he's just out.
yeah, and Robinson stepped up great with 18 carries, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he runs the ball great. He finds the hole. He runs hard. But you also got to give credit to the offensive line, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that comes a big part for actually seeing Arnold not have to be rushed. I mean, yeah, we talked about that. Arnold was really rushed in that pocket in certain times, but it was because of the offensive line. The offensive line gave Arnold no time. No, not in this game, of course. They gave him almost all the time in the world that he wanted to make the reads, to just step up in the pocket and just run it. Like, he wasn't second guessing himself. Like, whenever he was stepping up in the pocket to run or pass, he would step up, but he would always be looking to run. Now, he would step up and try to find someone, but he knew that, like, Alabama wasn't, like, fully planning on us coming in and then in the first half having over 200 rushing yards.
Oh, yeah. I also want to put there what you talked about in the last podcast where he would throw his head down immediately, like look at his reads, but immediately throw his head down. In this game, you could see that he kept, as Hasty said, kept himself composed. He would look at all his reads, and he would keep his head up going to the line of scrimmage. And then as soon as he gets to the line of scrimmage, he throws his head down.
He's
right
making
where,
he's
when he
making his
needs
decision
to.
by then. Yeah.
So obviously Arnold did a great job at. It's like everyone now. You look at Michael Hawkins, and it's like you see the offense we ran yesterday. Some people might be saying like Michael Hawkins should be the starter because he can run the football like a little more better. But you think about it, does Michael Hawkins make 9 of those 11 throws that Arnold throws that game?
I don't think so, and I think also that with Hawkins in there, they will be like be fully aware that like this will almost always be a read option because they're like if we have him back there. They almost know that there's going to be some type of way that he can revert out of what we are doing so that he can run the ball. Where with Jaxon Arnold, they can't always do that because then he could still throw the ball 60 yards over someone's head to our receivers if we had him.
Absolutely.
We're down 6 of our starting receivers now that Brennan got hurt.
And I think the only throw he made over like 15 yards this game was to Bauer Sharp in the middle of the end zone.
Yeah, on a play action.
It was play action. He threw it. I think Bauer, there was definitely some contact there, so I see what Jaxon was probably seeing. He threw it expecting the PI to be called or something. Obviously, didn't get the call. Doesn't matter.
And I think what we realized so far this season is that he's gotten a lot better on the run.
Oh, yeah.
His accuracy, I know it was against Maine. We've talked about this, but like that throw was, if you look at all his big passes, a lot of them are on the run. But it's because he kind of has to, but also that's good to see that he can make throws on the run, which is what you need for any quarterback.
Yeah, really. Unless, Tom Brady obviously doesn't need that. Sure. That's Tom Brady. Don't know why I brought that up.
Yeah,
but if you want to roll the first clip so we can talk about Xavier Robinson a little more. The read options, as you were talking about, Landon, it feels like Arnold played a perfect read option game this game.
Like, I don't think there was any times that, there might have been a couple plays where, he took the read option and he gained 0, maybe 1 yard. But if you would have handed it off like that, if you would have handed it off on the right side, that's a minus 3, 4, 5 yard play.
Yeah, our right side did really good this game. I don't know who exactly was out on that blocking, but Fabechi, I'm not going to say his last name because I'm absolutely going to butcher it. He looked like a Bill Beatenbow NFL draft pick this game. He was getting off the line on counters, going on the left side there, and he was pushing a guy down. There was pancakes being thrown on this Alabama defensive line that has been top 5 in the nation this entire.
They said that they were going to absolutely destroy us.
Yeah, of course they were.
Yeah, if you've seen the season so far, then I would be saying that too if I were them.
That's true. LT. I don't know if you guys know who LT Overton is, but he was a former OU commit. But obviously now he's on Alabama, one of their defensive linemen. He went down early in the game. I don't know. I'm going to check real quick if he played any snaps after that.
And on that play again, during the game, I thought he lost it there, Robinson, before he went out. But, when you look at it slow-mo, he clearly made it in. But I was a little worried at first because if y'all don't know, that would be a touchback in Alabama's ball, which in 3-3 game would not be the best thing ever.
Oh, no, he had it.
I know, but
Did you say that?
At first, because we were there, I thought
we couldn't really see
it was
though.
close, though, yeah. But I saw the ball come out, so I was like, oh, shoot, did he lose it before? Because, that's possible.
I was all the way up top, so I had no idea. It looked like a touchdown for me, of course.
Ref, that's a strike.
Just screaming from the top left.
How do you make that call? You're
Literally
blind.
can't even see the ball.
Oh, gotta love that with all the Alabama fans sitting up there. They were probably screaming too.
Dude, so some of them were getting really into it, but some of the ones there was 8 minutes left, and by that time they all started kind of leaving. But they were all they came by and shook me and my buddy's hand, hey, just saying thank you for having us. I'm like, what do you mean thank you for having? Sure, I'm glad, but they're all super nice. Because I think it's mainly because half of them just came from going to LSU, and they said that they just got. LSU they say is the cockiest people ever, and so when they go from there to here, where unless you're going to like talking to like a drunk frat guy that goes here. We're usually going to be pretty nice to you unless you come at us. You know what I mean? Like we're not. We let the game speak, even whenever we're pretty terrible. We're just like, just let the game play.
Tennessee,
whatever happens, happens.
In the student section, there was a decent amount of fans, and honestly, did not see any OU like students like even caring about students from Alabama being in the student section.
Oh yeah, there was a couple.
Just,
there was an Arkansas
I thought
fan.
you meant like them not caring they're there. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, that sounded a little bit.
Okay, that makes more sense.
I randomly saw an Arkansas fan. We didn't care, So we put it on the field.
Oh, we don't play Arkansas for another year.
Forever?
2 years actually.
Really?
Yeah, because we just play the same teams again next year. But flipped home and away. So like we'll play Alabama there.
Yeah, I don't know much about the scheduling. I just assume
Missouri
that we
here. So.
But I mean, we talked about offense. Offense did great, but now we get on to the. I don't think we had. Do we have a single senior on offense that is like leaving us?
There's offensive lineman, right?
There might
Troy
be a lineman.
Everett, I believe.
Everett.
Hold on, I don't have it pulled up here, but
I mean,
I also want to talk about that before we go straight to offense. Had 0 penalties throughout the entire game, which again was
Huge.
another big thing. Is holding calls, all that stuff. Obviously, there's probably some holding, but
happens every game.
it happens every game. So, but now we can go to the defense. I apologize, but offense. I think there's a couple seniors that are on there.
But if we have one or two, I mean that sucks that they're leaving, but it's also great. We have a young team, and as long as none of them leaves, which I don't think any of them are really at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just huge for development for next year.
Yeah, and then another senior that I guess kind of sad that he's leaving, but he was iffy throughout his OU career. We got Woody Washington. Got a pick. Pretty sure he did something to his knee.
They qualified it as a cramp. They said he was cramped.
Okay, that's good. then.
Cramp. That's good. Danny Stutzman seemed. We obviously don't have the play here, but there was like Danny Stutzman after the interception and like Woody Washington went down, like he was kneeing, like praying, like looking like Woody
Like he, like,
Washington like
died.
tore his ACL or
Uh-huh.
something. So I was a little worried. I'm glad to know that
He was like they said that they qualified it as a cramp, but like again, like we don't have to play, but that there's the Alabama lineman like fell on top of him, and then when he was on the ground, he like kneed him like in like his back area, and that's whenever he was like grabbing at his back. So,
Yeah,
like,
so I told you.
I don't know if
back.
I don't know
makes
if like
sense.
that's what they qualified his cramp as is in his back, but
or he had a cramp and he might have just a big bruise.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the linebackers, obviously, Danny Stutzman is going to be gone, first round draft pick.
We have
He only
two
have-
more games with him.
Yep. Unfortunately, unless he opts out the bowl game, but I don't see why he would do that.
I was
And
talking that with my friend. Like, I just don't see like like players will do that, but I mean, Danny's the type of person that like if he wants to play the rest of the season out with the
Oh, yeah.
team that
I mean,
he's been with.
If y'all
Him and
don't
Billy.
remember, he stayed here. He
He stayed here for a reason.
he
mean-
originally entered the draft after last year's season, but then came back. So he loves playing for OU. So I don't see why he wouldn't play in the bowl game.
Yeah, and I mean, if you saw him on the jumbotron last night
Oh,
when
gosh.
when they stormed the field, dude was life of the party.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
was the
gosh.
center of attention. Bro was wearing some random guy's hat. He'd grab someone's hat and just put it on. It was amazing.
He also lost $1,000 to Eli Bowen
Oh yeah, I saw that.
'Cause
I saw
his-
that interview.
because he said that he lost $1,000 because whoever got the first turnover, he would give $1,000 to, and Eli Bowen on that screenplay.
Blew
that
it
he
up.
just
Yeah.
absolutely blew it
We
up.
can play that here.
Well,
right?
this
it
is
right
this
here?
is the second turnover,
Okay.
where
This is the Kip
Kip
Lewis.
Lewis. I mean, dude's just a dog.
I mean, he read
If
it
you wanna
perfectly.
play it.
Roll clip.
That's a big part of this
I mean, he just read it perfectly. He watched the QB's eyes the
Yeah.
whole way, read it the whole time.
I don't know what Milroe's tackle attempt was there.
I think he's just trying not to get hurt. But if
Yeah.
you look at the first one with Eli Bowen, he like actually kind of
Tackled him, actually, yeah.
So like I think Milroe just gave up at that point.
I feel like at that point he knew what it was getting to. He knew that like at this point we're going to be down
And pause it right here.
3 or so scores.
I think if right here like Kip Lewis doesn't get to that ball, I think Des Malone makes a play on it.
Yeah,
It
the-
doesn't
the
look like
flexion,
45 is that athletic. No,
I mean,
offense
he's at
to
Alabama.
45.
Kinda has to
He
be.
probably would have caught it.
We'll look at 45 run after this play. Look how slow he is.
He's like a
I mean, dude,
fullback
that's,
or
I was
something.
gonna say that dude's a
maybe.
fullback.
Goodness gracious.
Golly.
I mean, Kip Lewis
I mean, look at the
had
ref
like
go,
10
though.
yards
You
of
saw the ref?
separation. in
Dude, that
3
ref was
seconds.
booking it. Go back. Go back a second.
talking
Look at
about
him go. He high stepping down that sideline.
Oh, yeah.
That dude,
Oh, yeah.
He's like 62.
Get it, old man.
He's like, my damn hip.
I'm going to need a replacement. Do you think he hurt all over Milrow?
Because I don't really like. It definitely seemed like Milrow just didn't want to get hurt, but
What
also
is Danny looking at?
he,
Danny's
he
like,
didn't want to
"Good,
get
got it."
Milrow didn't want to get hurt, but at the same time, he's probably looking at it in the sense of like, if I stop him, OU's been taking like 6 to 8 minute drives. I get that where we're at, where we would have it if he would have tackled, we still probably would have wasted a good 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
They
Which is
can't.
fine.
They can't have that. Like Alabama can have that. So he's like, if I tackle him, I get him with a shoelace tackle. If not, we get the ball directly back. So I feel like with him, he was just kind of looking at like they need all the time that they can get.
All right, Tim, if you want to go to that first clip that we originally played and played the rest of it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Eli
Yeah.
and Bowen pick real quick. I mean, you were
Yeah,
right
you
there
can-
if you
yeah,
want to
you-
start it. Exactly.
Start where you were.
Have you guys seen the like the interview with Eli Bowen after it happened? With
He looked like he was high.
High
I guess,
on life.
but also, I mean, what one of the things that he said
Go back.
in this is
Yeah.
that he said that he didn't know whenever he caught it. He said he was like stunned because he was surprised that like he was just like in the middle of it all of a sudden.
I mean,
I mean, if
dude
you look at,
outplayed. What is Ryan Williams doing? Dude, like, hold on, go back. Like,
I mean, the wide receiver in front of him did not
Whoever was supposed to be blocking him,
just froze.
it was Kobe Prentice. He's like their third best, like, wide receiver.
Like, I
but
don't know
dude
what-
just like let him go through. He was like, basically, he did not see him.
it looks like Eli Bowen, like honestly, like he jumped it thinking that like he was gonna get there, and then he didn't, and then he got there so early that he thought it wasn't happening, and then the ball was just right here.
right there. I'm just glad he caught it.
Yeah, it's like he jumped it, and then he was like.
He was like, "Oh, it's not coming this way."
Yeah, he
and
was
then
like,
the
he
ball
probably
was,
thought
like,
he
right
blew
here.
it up, so they were
Uh-huh.
going to go somewhere else, and then the ball just ends up in his ear.
I mean, Milrow should have definitely done something else with the ball. I get it. You could say it's not his fault because the wide receiver didn't block it, but
I think that is more the wide receiver fault.
yeah, it is. But Milrow also, I mean, I feel like he has time to see it, but also there's nothing else he could have done that play.
Was that an
probably.
RPO? Yeah. It was like RPO wide receiver screen. Bubble screen.
Bubble screen?
Don't know. I run Army playbook.
I mean, the thing about our defense is that we held Alabama. I mean, we held them to 3 points overall, but then I mean, yes, we held them 3 points in halftime, 3 points overall. Alabama has scored 10 points in 182 straight games. And we put it
Which-
into that, which was for them, that was the longest in SEC history.
And you just gotta think that's insane. I mean, Auburn almost did it like 2 years ago, I believe. It was Bryce Young was on like the 3-yard line. There was like a minute and a half left. Alabama only had 3 points, and then he took them down the field with no timeouts. So that's why Bryce Young won Heisman that year. But unfortunately, they don't have a Bryce Young guy in the backfield now. Now it is Jalen Milrow. And, I mean, going 11 for 26 for 164 yards and 3 interceptions, and then 15 carries for 7 yards. You know, you just think about it. You go back to, I mean, we could say last year. I mean, just the past 10 years with Oklahoma and running quarterbacks. And if I told you 5 years ago that one of the best running quarterbacks in college football only had 7 yards against us on 15 carries, I would say you're an idiot and you don't watch OU football.
Still, this season, he has more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns on the season.
Mm-hmm.
And us holding him to only 7 yards is
Insane.
absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I didn't really see. I mean, he threw the ball. I mean, he was like you said, 11 for 26, 164 yards passing. To me, it honestly I didn't even know he threw the ball 26 times.
Yeah.
It honestly didn't seem like they threw the ball that much.
I mean,
again, they had 3 interceptions, but
they dropped like 3 or 4 passes.
oh my goodness, some of them
5.
were just. I mean, like that's just Sooner magic right there. We were just
It's like,
like every single time they threw the ball, all of us were.
The crowd was just too loud. They couldn't handle it.
Honestly, I
Even
don't
though
know.
they just played at
How
LSU.
loud was it down there? Because I mean, like,
Oh my gosh,
it was
on
like
that Kip
insane.
Lewis pick six.
Oh gosh, I bet.
Like as soon as Kip got it and ran like 5 yards, I could literally see the stadium shaking. Like
Oh, it was insane.
it was just unrealistic. I'm just sitting there. I turned to Hasty. I'm like,
I love the jumping up and down, screaming while like every Alabama fan is just like, "Are you joking?" The whole
like-
half of them up there were just like putting our back up, like they were telling to get Milrow out.
it's like now people know how we feel after Arnold fumbled the football against Missouri and they took it back for a touchdown. Like
Yeah,
we're just sitting. I was sitting there at the TV like, take him out. And it's just like, obviously,
One of the things that our defense did exactly what we needed from them was containing Milrow, and that's exactly what we talked about. And whenever we talked about our preview of this game, we needed to contain Milrow. We needed to keep him to run up the middle, not let him get outside, and just have our linebackers. And you saw in the very first play of the game, they ran that QB draw, and Stutzman met him right in the hole, and didn't gain a single yard.
and the thing is, as soon as like you contain the run on Milrow, he cannot do absolutely anything, which is what we talked about in our podcast like 2 weeks ago, that as long as Milrow isn't running the football, you just have to make him pay in the air. And that's exactly what we did. 3 interceptions.
Exactly what we did.
I mean, it's insane. I want to shout out Eli Bowen, like we talked about him all I'm obviously the interception there, but he got targeted 5 times, only gave up 1 reception. It was in man coverage against Ryan Williams. It was 30 yards, and again, one of them was an interception. Another one, he knocked the ball out of Ryan Williams' hands. So it's like, you really think like, holy crap. You look at it, he's 5'11", freshman. Like, how do we think Eli Bowen is going to stand up like with guys like Derek Strait in OU history as like, can he be one of those top corners?
I feel like he definitely can. I mean, him doing this as a freshman, I mean, people are going to be like, well, he went against Ryan, who's also a freshman. Ryan is probably one of the best wide receivers that are out right now. Just because, I mean, like, the dude's not even 18. The dude doesn't turn 18 until next month.
That's so true.
Like, I don't...
We've also lined him up against, I mean, the last like 5 teams we played, we have lined up Eli on
Every number one receiver.
every number 1 receiver. And I mean, honestly, I cannot complain one bit.
I mean, like, we can talk about when Theo Weiss caught that touchdown against us. I mean, he played phenomenal defense against them. I feel like that's just his height.
His height gave up on that.
Gave up on that.
Yeah, if he could just grow a little in the offseason, that's
But
my only
one thing I
request.
wanted to bring up is that we know how much we made fun of Jacoby Johnson on that play. Jacoby Johnson, I'm pretty sure he went 1-on-1 against Ryan Williams like twice, and he didn't allow, and he got targeted twice, and he knocked the ball out twice.
Yeah, Jacoby Johnson. No, we flamed him. Obviously, we're going to flame you if you fall on something that should have been a probably game-sealing pick. But
At least knock it out of bounds.
Yeah.
I mean, he played 2 snaps.
And I'm pretty sure he got targeted at both of them, and he stopped them. Or at least I know at least one of them.
I'm not saying target, but I'm assuming
Because he was at the farther end whenever he went against.
Well, you know what they say about corners? No stats is better than bad stats.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Hunter shouldn't win Heisman. But anyways,
I don't know how I forgot our corner number 4.
Des Malone.
He had the most tackles on the team with 5.
Yeah. Well, someone else had 5 too, I think.
I don't think so.
It was
Danny only had 1 with like 3 assists.
he had 4. Yeah, but he had 4 total.
Did RSJ have 5 tackles? Let's see. Yeah, no, Billy also had 5 tackles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peyton Bowen had 3, RSJ 3. These are solo tackles. I don't know why. Anyways, defense only I think had 2 penalties. We only had 2 penalties.
It was only 2 penalties for
4.
like 10 yards.
4
Oh wait, really?
penalties. R. Mason had 2, I believe, offsides.
On both of them?
Yeah, and then Kobe McKenzie had some like, I remember it was so stupid. It was like illegal, not illegal touching, but it was something that you
illegal.
don't hear often on defense for a penalty. And then Trace Ford, I believe, had an offsides as well. So like, I think we did a really good job of
Being smart.
being smart. I mean, we played smart with the football, smart, like making sure we're not tugging on receivers. Like, we really didn't see anybody like push anybody. We didn't see. I mean, there probably could have been a couple times where maybe there was a defensive pass interference on like maybe Billy Bowman. Billy Bowman was talking a lot of crap and hitting a lot of people. So, I mean, but Billy again had an exceptional game. Can't really be mad at that.
We're going bowling.
That's true. We
have 6 wins.
We're no one thought that we were going to get our 6th win with these last 2 games coming up, but I want to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
You know, that honestly doesn't sound
Give
that
us
bad.
USC.
You see that they actually it's going to be real Pop-Tarts. Like, they're going to be able to pick which flavor.
What do you mean by
They
that?
get to pick. If you win the Pop-Tart Bowl this year, you get to pick which flavor of mascot you want to eat.
Oh, they're just going to fatten up our team.
Well, they got
They have the whole offseason to burn it off.
I know.
Like,
Stutzman deserves the Pop-Tarts. Just give them to Eli Bowen.
Yeah, he needs
You got any protein Pop-Tarts back there?
got any growth enhancement ones?
Got any gluten-free ones?
God damn.
How about some naked chicken tenders?
That smells like cat food.
That's not that bad.
It does smell bad. My car does. My car smells pretty bad, but I'm pretty sure it was the chicken tenders this time, Tim. I'm not
Your
gonna
truck
lie.
is also the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's so foul.
So, well, you can't say nothing. I found your chocolate milk that you left there that was in.
I think you do.
Chunky in the door.
Do you have something to say?
Yeah, please, producer man, getting in here.
Oh, is he about to pull up?
Oh,
He's about to plug in the mic.
Oh, he about to plug in. Oh,
This is Tim.
This is Tip for the
this is
Caro, producer.
the dogs.
Maybe it was your feet that smell so bad.
How you doing today,
Hey,
Timothy?
Tim, remember
Yeah.
fist link.
Yeah, fist length.
Fist length.
You're right. Yeah.
As he puts it
What's
closer.
Up,
No,
guys?
no, that's not a fist length.
I don't have as much plosives in my voice, so I can actually get away with it.
Okay, Tim. So what are your thoughts
Okay,
about
you
this
can
game?
leave.
Well, I thought we were talking about naked chicken tenders.
Oh, yeah, get out.
Are we not talking about naked
We can talk
chicken
about
what,
naked chicken
what
tender.
makes you think these naked chicken tenders are so good?
So the thing is, they're actually not. It's the only.
You just completely drown them in the cane sauce to make them taste better.
That does work, but it's also the only thing from Cane's that I can actually eat. So
Well, you can
And
eat
the
the
fries.
fries. Why don't you just
The
get like
fries are
a
great.
whole thing of fries?
And
Well,
coleslaw.
just
Just get like
eat
4
that.
perfect
coleslaw.
if
time.
I want to
man.
actually get filled, well, okay. If I
Tim,
want
what-
to eat, that's why. I
What
cut
you could
myself
do
off.
is you could get some fries and then just go to like Walmart and buy some like protein powder and just dump them on the fries or in the cane sauce.
Okay, what are we doing?
all right.
That
we
sounds
try
actually
this?
terrible.
I think this might be
Guys,
on the
next
next
episode-
next episode.
On
We're
the
gonna
next
try
episode.
chocolate cane sauce.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
What do you think about that?
let's do it. I think
Okay,
that feels
okay.
great. Yeah.
This is gonna end so bad for him. Don't tell him I said this.
So I got on my way over here. I got a call. I was at family dinner,
He got fired.
and I wasn't at work. But I got a call from my mom because my cousins that live in Minnesota are down here. And then I guess they weren't fully understanding what I was going to go do. They're like, what do you mean he's going to go? What's a podcast? Like they didn't understand. And so my mom, they like told them they slowly started to understand. And then I guess my mom told them what the name was. And they're like, oh, that name sucks. I'm like, really? And they're like, they need to rebrand it. And I was like,
To
okay.
what though? Like we
Rainbow
couldn't think of
unicorn.
Rainbow unicorn.
And so I was like, okay, what does that have to do with OU football? And they said that our ponies are actually
Unicorns?
unicorns and that they're just hidden.
Bro, that's insane.
Wait,
Put the unicorns in the barn.
Is this just a thing that they think, or is this like a commonly held misconception?
It's just Minnesota things,
That's-
probably.
All right.
They drown in so many lakes they don't know a difference between a pony and a unicorn, apparently.
What is going on?
Get that ass cut out.
All right, should we do the trivia now?
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to the trivia segment of things. So of course we upset Alabama this week. Alabama number 7, us unranked, of course, because we stink. And so we're gonna do an upset version.
Okay.
Perfect time.
So if you want to go ahead and go to the first question we have, in 2017, Oklahoma scored a significant upset victory against which ranked opponent led by lead running back Trey Sermon? We had Trey Sermon.
B, Ohio
I
State.
was gonna say Ohio State.
Okay, if you want to go, it is Ohio
How was
State.
it not FAU?
Yeah.
We did play FAU, I think, in 2018.
Really?
They were pretty. They had Lane Kiffin at the time. And so they were supposed to be pretty good.
That is true.
I just put that there. Maybe it would have thrown you off. But 2000, Oklahoma upset which team in the Orange Bowl, securing their first national title in 15 years?
D. Florida State.
Oh, you said. I thought you said the. Okay, D. Yeah, D.
Florida State? Yeah, that is
Yay.
correct.
So I thought we were answering for the both of us. I didn't know we had both had the.
In 2018.
I was like, he said it. Like,
What was the score before?
for what?
I told you this earlier.
I don't know the score.
13-2.
Yes. Weirdest score ever.
That is. I forgot about that.
Quentin Griffin had
Yeah.
our only touchdown. Love the guy. In 2018, Oklahoma defeated which Big 12 ranked foe where Curtis Bolton had a scoop in score to solidify the win, 59-56.
I'm down to
We got
2.
Oklahoma State, West Virginia,
What are
Baylor,
your two?
or TCU.
My 2 are Oklahoma State and Baylor. Well, I don't think it's TCU, but
So in 2018, who did we have? That was
Kyler Murray.
Kyler. I went to that West Virginia game.
It was at West Virginia.
you read it?
Mhm.
Okay.
I went to that game with the band,
Okay.
so I remember that. I remember it was a high scoring game, but I don't remember if it was that.
Go A, Oklahoma State.
I'm gonna go B, West Virginia, just since I went there.
It was West Virginia.
Okay. I couldn't remember if he had that scoop and score or not.
I thought it was Caleb Kelly, but I think he had a scoop and score in that game too. But that was Curtis Bolton had the final one,
Okay.
where it solidified. But in 2005, in the Holiday Bowl, who did Oklahoma upset, winning 17-14, making it our last win against an AP top 10 team while being unranked?
2005.
We got UConn, Auburn, Michigan State, and Oregon.
I have no idea. I'm gonna go Michigan State.
Go Auburn.
Okay, it was Oregon.
Oh, well.
I was the closest one. C D. I was the closest.
Oregon
one.
was ranked 6th at the time. We
Sure.
were 8-4 and somehow not ranked. I don't remember our schedule, but if you want to move on, who did Oklahoma upset in the Big 12 championship game in 2007, winning 38-17, giving us a dominant win against the number 1 ranked team in the country? We got Texas A&M, Colorado, Missouri, or Kansas. Now,
I know
mind
Kansas
you-
was good that year, but they never were ranked number 1 that year.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
2007 was a pretty wild season.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got to 2, but not 1,
Okay.
if I'm correct.
So is Kansas eliminated?
I want to say eliminated, but
Well, I'm gonna pick Kansas. I'll pick Kansas. You pick whoever you want.
Kansas.
It's Missouri.
Okay. Well,
Kansas lost to Missouri.
How are you going to completely say that? I know it's not that one. I know they never got one.
I was gonna go with
It's
A.
Kansas.
I was gonna go with A&M anyway.
How does that make any-
We won, and then I
So
think.
why did you go with Kansas?
Well, I would have got it wrong either way. So
So I mean, we're gonna go on. We already talked about Alabama. We might as well talk about this week, which I mean, that's kind of the point of the show. Let's talk about the Louisiana State Tigers. Do you guys know anything at all about this LSU football team?
well, I know for a fact that Death Valley, which is it the name of their stadium or is it like a nickname?
There's two stadiums.
Okay,
It's
I want you to
Clemson
stop real
Stadium.
quick because Tim just looked up what is the LSU football. What is LSU
What
football?
is
team?
LSU football? Brother. Bro, they're not ranked.
Tim.
But yeah, so I know Death Valley is, I would say, a top 10 place to play, hardest place to play in college football.
Saying that based off of our.
No. I know that for a fact. No matter if they're 0-10 or 10-0, they're gonna be there and be loud. So
That's true.
Especially it being a nighttime game.
Last game of the season.
Isn't it streamed nationally too?
Oh,
Isn't that
100
game?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's a night game.
Yeah.
Okay.
6:30.
Of course it is.
So exactly what we just did.
Hopefully we don't get embarrassed on live television
And
again.
it's
But
their
Hey,
senior
that's
night.
what we thought with Alabama. And
well, Garrett Nussmeier I think is a better quarterback. I'm going to be honest. He is their best offensive player this year.
I mean, you
If
could
I-
say that, but then you can also, Alabama went in there 2 weeks before that,
And he did play pretty bad.
and he played terrible.
I mean, he's played terrible in his past 3 games. Obviously, they played Vanderbilt last week, and he picked up that slack. That was his best game of the season, stat-wise. I don't know why my stats aren't pulling up for Garrett Nussmeier.
To me, Garrett Nussmeier, like I haven't watched a lot of the games, but like from going through his highlights and looking at his stats and everything like that, like to me, he's just not all that.
I think that's very true. Their offensive line it's iffy at times, but they have
that one guy. What's his name? Like
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell. That's what it was.
He's probably going to be a top 10 draft pick this year. He's probably the best tackle, or one of the best tackles.
He has to be
in the NCAA. Though he has, I believe, committed the most penalties for them. I literally just had this pulled up. I do not know why I just took it away, but yeah, he has 9 penalties. He's played 800 snaps, most on the team. 802 snaps. That makes any sense, but. Their center is pretty terrible. He's literally a 50, like grade on PFF offensive wise. Like he cannot block.
Which, if y'all don't know what that means, that's horrible. Because I think we realized that 60 is like the base grading if you get in.
Yeah, if you play one snap
and don't do
for
anything.
PFF is there's a website. It's called Pro Football Focus. They grade players based on their performance. It's a base grade of 60, and depending on how well they do, like, say, Jaxon Arnold had, like, I believe a 79 rating this game. So he played 19 above the average of usual quarterbacks in the NCAA this week. So in this example, Mr. DJ Chester, who has played 11 games, all 11, 800 snaps, second most on the team. He's a 49.3. I mean, he's they're pretty good pass blocking team if you look at it. Garrett Nussmeier, he has 3,500 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, but he has thrown 11 interceptions, which is a good thing because, after last game, I think if we can enable Garrett Nussmeier to throw the ball, which he's going to do because I don't think anybody's seen him run, but I think he's a pretty decent runner too. So we do have to worry about that just a little bit. The running game with their running backs, though, they have 2 running backs. They have Caden Durham, which is like their starting running back, the one they actually use. And then you got, I think his name is Josh Williams. He broke out. There's a clip in the Vanderbilt game. I think he had like a 40-yard rushing touchdown. He just blew through the defense. It is Vanderbilt's defense, though, so you can't really. Like, if you meet Danny Stutzman in the hole, Josh Williams is not going to be alive after that. But usually Josh Williams is the one that they're running two running back sets in the backfield. He'll be the one that's blocking for Caden Durham. I think he's going to be Caden Durham's. I think he's a freshman or a sophomore right now. He just runs all over the field. If you look at the stats real quick, I believe he's like top 10 right now in the entire nation in rushing yards. I lied. He is from Oklahoma City. I did not know that. So if there was anybody out there that knew that Caden Durham was from Oklahoma City,
why isn't he here?
Yeah. Well, 115 carries, 609 yards, so he's not top 10 in the nation, but he's a pretty efficient running back, 6 touchdowns, 5.3 yards per carry. Last game he had 14 for 58, my bad. And LSU played a pretty good defensive game if we want to talk about them on defense. Pass coverage, obviously, is one of their best things. Zy Alexander, their best corner, he's all over the field. We're probably going to have to worry about that just a little bit, just because if we're going to throw the ball, that's the guy who we're probably going to be throwing to, depending on, because he's just everywhere. They have a pretty good D-line, like D-line wise. They have 3 guys there that we're probably going to see throughout the, like, hear their name if we get pressure. It's going to be Braden Swinson, JVR Suggs, and Deshaun Womack. Braden Swinson has 9 sacks. He leads LSU. And then Savion Jones, JVR Suggs come in 5 sacks, 3 sacks respectively for each. The issue, though, with the LSU team is, I don't know if anybody, obviously we know what happened when Alabama came to town against LSU, I apologize. Milroe, I believe, ran for 150 yards. The entire Alabama team ran for close to 150 yards. or like 200, 300 yards. It was pretty embarrassing.
What was Nussmeier's stats in that game? Like his completion and how many yards?
Real quick.
Because I remember while having that game on whenever OU was going against Missouri.
He had 239 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He got sacked twice. He got sacked 7 times when they got upset against Florida last Saturday.
So we need to get sacks. So
The big thing with them is that from what I saw on how Alabama was able to keep getting the ball on offense was their pressure. It wasn't them dropping back and just letting the ball come to them. They were going to the guy with the ball. They were getting to Garrett Nussmeier back in the backfield, making him get out of the pocket. When he's out the pocket, it's very hard for him to make plays because, I mean, he's not the most athletic. He has that. He's the little like sneaky athletic where like if he gets open, he can run for like 20, 25 yards, and you're like, I did not expect that. But I mean, like if you contain him and then you get him out the pocket where he has to flip his hips and make a really difficult throw, his completion percentage, I'm pretty sure, drops down to like the 30% range.
When he's under pressure, 46%.
Okay.
Which, I mean, so based on what I've seen, when the pocket is kept clean, it's been 73% of the times. Again, offensive line's pretty good at pass blocking, run blocking. He's thrown 6 interceptions. That's okay. He is a 68 completion percentage. 2,800 of his yards have came from that, with 21 touchdowns, of course. But if you go to the under pressure, it's been 27% of the snaps that he's taken. He is 51 for 109. Again, 46% completion. 710 yards, which is an exceptional. If you look at his yards per attempt when he's not under pressure, it's higher, and it's at 8, so it drops about 1.5. But he has a 2 to 5 touchdown to interception ratio. So, like Casey said, we're gonna have to put him under pressure if we want. He's been sacked 13 times this year.
I mean, if our defense plays like they did against Alabama, I don't see how we lose that game.
Yeah, I mean, if we just put pressure on him, make sure stay away from Will Campbell. It looks like their left side is probably going to be the big like place that we're going to have to attack this game because Will Campbell and his buddy and co. But if we just put a guy on like nose tackle straight on the center, I mean, dude, just go right through that. We're going to be able to blow up a lot of runs. You'll see this game.
They're going to be passing the ball a lot.
That they will probably, after what they just saw with Jalen Milroe, that the ball is going to be thrown. Runs will only come in tempo times when they need to change like the way that they're playing. But they're going to try to throw the football, and I believe their best receiver is Lacey. Don't know his first name.
Kyron Lacey.
Kyron Lacey. He's pretty special if you look at him. Malik Neighbors type build. Unfortunately, we're going to have to... I mean, but when you have the best freshman corner in the nation, it's kind of hard.
Yeah, he's going to lock him up the entire game.
I feel like in that game, we're going to need to run a lot of like...
RPOs.
A lot of RPOs. But like basically, like, I like the way that we ran our offense against Alabama. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
everything seemed
amazing.
fluidly. That showed me that our offensive caller, as of right now, does have what we need to get an offense going. I'm just glad that we finally got to get to that point.
I'm glad Joe John saw something that Seth Lachelle clearly couldn't.
He saw that trick play too, but Bauer Sharp screwed that up, didn't he? This is for you, Bauer Sharp.
We know Bauer Sharp can...
He has his time, but whenever he does something good, it just does not make up for the crap that he's done. I mean, like half the time I'm going out there, a good play happens, and I'm just watching Bauer Sharp. I'm like, this guy.
Okay, to be fair, he did have some pretty great blocks on some of the runs.
That's a first, but yes. It's what he came here to do and what he was sought out to do.
But it's funny, though, because Jake Roberts was actually our best pass block, or like run blocker. Like, he did better than Bauer Sharp. But if you look at some of the plays, obviously we're not going to put him up there because it's blocking, and if we did see it, we would put it up there for you. But there was one with, I think, early in the first quarter or the second quarter where Arnold had like a 30-yard run, and Bauer Sharp got up in there and pushed the guy. Like,
I definitely say that other than Bauer Sharp having that drop on that little trick play, He played a very well game.
Yeah.
Like a very well-rounded. I didn't see him miss many tackles. I didn't see him really like mess up, like just complete and utter just drops. Like, like none of those things.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead. And do you guys have anything else you want to say?
One last thing they did on it. This is crazy to me that if we win this game, LSU and OU will have the same record, which is insane to me because, early in the season it looked like LSU would have a better record by the end of the season than OU. But if we win this game, we have the same record.
They will have lost 4 of their last 5.
4 out of the last 5 is crazy.
So we're up and they're down right now. So let's take advantage of it.
Yeah, and this is the Pawns on the Duck podcast. My name is Caleb Shoemake.
I'm Jaxon Hastings.
I'm Landon Roop.
Make sure to go follow our YouTube, our Insta, Spotify, TikTok. If it's a social media, you name it. Pawns on the Duck podcast, right up here. There's our ats. Tim, if you want to learn about his naked chicken things, go ahead. DM him, or you can just DM the Pawns on the Duck podcast Instagram.
No, DM me.
All right, that's it.